So today I'm going to share a video with you guys explaining exactly what Ethereum is. Now, this is one of the best explanations I've ever heard, and it actually signifies the importance of Ethereum in the cryptocurrency space. If you or a friend don't fully understand how important Ethereum actually is, please pay attention to this.
We ready for a crypto pitch? All right, about a decade ago, an unknown 19-year-old named Vitalik Buterin came to our office at Ribbit to pitch us on his vision for making Bitcoin more programmable. Now, as you can see, he definitely didn't hold himself out as a titan of finance. But for 10 years now, we've watched as his vision has started to reimagine the underpinnings of financial services and a lot more. Important ideas are like that. They take time to grow. Then one day, they're obvious in hindsight. Social in 2007, mobile, cloud in 2010, AI sometime in the last few years. People worked on and talked about these ideas for a long time, and then they picked up steam when the conditions were right. And that led to trillions of dollars of gains for investors who paid close attention. So what's hiding in plain sight today? What are too few people paying attention to? Well, I think it's that thing that Vitalik was so certain of when he came to see us. A thing that Tim Cook described a year later in a different way when they launched Apple Pay. It's this word, tokenization. Tokenization also is not new. We already tokenize a lot of things. We tokenize payment cards, credentials, PII, Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, Adyen. All these businesses thrive on tokenization. But this simple act makes information more secure, more useful, more interoperable. And now it's picking up speed. Tokenization is something that we're doing with more things and more valuable things. And in a way, this is what Ethereum is about. Ethereum is a global computing network that allows anyone to tokenize and program any asset. And by doing this in a reliable and trusted, neutral way, Ethereum gives us an independent system of property rights on the internet. This turns out to be really powerful, but you don't have to take my word for it. We can just look at the data of what's already happening on Ethereum. We have $88 billion of stablecoins on Ethereum. Now, these are just tokenized dollars. They're digital traveler's checks, basically. But by putting a dollar on Ethereum, you give it superpowers. You can move it anywhere, 24/7, 365 days a year immediately. And this is something no legacy payment network can match. Ethereum's also home to $13 billion of digital art. Now, digital art on Ethereum may or may not be your taste, but it's already on display in dozens of the world's top museums. And Ethereum's home to over $100 billion in tokenized collateral in financial contracts, all written with software on the network. Users swapped nearly $1 trillion on Ethereum last year, all settled in real time, all without counterparty risk. And we're just scratching the surface. These numbers are a fraction of 1% of these addressable markets, and we have many more assets to tokenize. We've got the ones we think of, like the $85 trillion in global equities, and then we have the ones that we don't think of but are growing really fast, like our personal data. And the world is full of assets. We could spend all our time talking about just these ideas. Now, tokenization can and will happen on other platforms, but Ethereum's really in pole position. More than 100 million people own ETH. More than 100,000 people have contributed code to the network. Coinbase, PayPal, BlackRock, and others, they're all building on Ethereum. It's as if all of Visa's employees and partners decided to become evangelical stockholders and work for free. But perhaps the best kept secret about all this is that it has real investable economics. The network right now is generating over $7 billion in fees, all paid in ETH, and all these fees fund a programmatic buyback and dividend. So when the network expands and entrepreneurs building on top of Ethereum have their own success, it drives value directly to token holders. At its current scale of activity, the supply of ETH tokens is actually declining. Now, two implications I want to point out about this. The first is ETH can be analyzed using traditional financial tools. You can build an Ethereum DCF. And I think you'll be surprised by how this pencils out when you have this recursive relationship between demand growing and supply shrinking. The second thing is you can start to see why more and more people see Ethereum as a complement to Bitcoin as a non-sovereign store of value for a digital world. Bitcoin offers greater certainty of supply, but Ethereum now pays a dividend and is deflationary. And the upside here is quite big. Look, thinking back on that first meeting with Vitalik, I remember how far his vision went beyond where we are today. A lot of things need to be built around scalability, usability, compliance, and more. But it's all solvable. So at Ribbit, we just keep asking ourselves, like, is there another ecosystem with this kind of alignment between users, developers, companies, and investors? Are we paying enough attention? 3 things to leave you with. The first is, whatever we all think, the world's interested. The Bitcoin ETFs are the first time everyone's had a path to participate, and they've grown to over half the AUM of gold in 3 months. ETH is next. Second, tokenization is really powerful today, and we could talk about a lot of examples, but the most inspiring use cases will come from the future. Things we didn't realize were assets programmed in ways that we can't quite imagine. What happens when we start to tokenize specialized AI models? What happens when AI agents can buy, sell, rent, and manage assets? And third, tokenization has been here for some time, but Ethereum is really something new. Now, to explain why I've got in with the wise man himself, Charlie Munger surely would have hated being in a crypto pitch. But he said, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. Steve Ballmer once called Linux a cancer, and now it runs 95% of cloud infrastructure. So what happens when you take this dynamism of open source and you combine it with the strong financial incentives of a platform like Ethereum? Look, we've had a decade to watch this and think about it, and it really keeps surprising us. So I'd encourage you to give it your attention and open mind. I have a strong feeling when we look back, it will have all happened in a flash. Thanks.
Thanks, Nick. How would you think about the odds that the incumbents use their maybe temporary but powerful position to launch a competitor, kind of like the way in a co-op, the way they did MasterCard and Visa?
Like on a 1 to 10 scale?
1 to 10.
I'd say maybe a 2. I think the coordination costs are really high, and you can build all the compliance and programmability you need. You have all the flexibility on a platform like Ethereum. I think that doesn't mean the incumbents won't be successful. I think Visa can be the biggest issuer, BlackRock can be the biggest asset manager on Ethereum. But if we had asked IBM and Cisco to build the internet for us, we would have ended up with something much smaller, narrower, and ultimately less interesting.
So JP Morgan is the IBM of banking.
We'll see.
What's your thought on cryptocurrency right now, and potentially either accepting it through Apple Pay or otherwise?
It's something that we're looking at. It's not something we have immediate plans to do. I would sort of characterize it as there are things that I wouldn't do, like our cash balance. I wouldn't go invest that in crypto, not because I wouldn't invest my own money in crypto, but because I don't think people buy an Apple stock to get exposure to crypto. And so if they want to do that, they can invest directly in crypto or through other means. And so I wouldn't do that. And I'm not planning to in the immediate future to take crypto for our products as a mean of tender. But there are other things that we're definitely looking at.
Like what?
Like I wouldn't want to have anything to announce today.
Well, let me ask you a different question, because you just said that you might not do it personally. Do you own crypto, any Bitcoin or Ethereum? Would you play around with this?
I do, yeah. I think it's reasonable to own it as a part of a diversified portfolio.
So that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and tick that little notification bell so you guys never miss an episode.